And going into the next thing that I want to talk about was how conservative people will say, like, having gay characters or pride things in kids shows is grooming. We're grooming them. Like, they're going to turn out gay because there's gay characters on TV. Like, first of all, I only got straight media.
Yeah.
Still was gay. News alerts.
I don't know where they get that.
I'm gay.
So I think it's a choice or...
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? My name's Leticia, and you're listening to Confessions from the Closet, a podcast all about vulnerability and overcoming. It's time we get ourselves unstuck from these boxes and these closets that we've allowed ourselves to be trapped in. We're so much bigger than these boxes we've been in. It's time we go deep, y'all.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another week of Confessions from the Closet. I got my wife back with me this week. I'm excited for tonight's episode. I guess it's today. We're filming at night, but I don't know, whenever I release it. This week's episode. In case you haven't seen Dancing with the Stars, one of me and Amaya's favorite shows, since she was like 3 and she's 10 and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
Had their first, we've been watching it forever. And now Apollo's super into it like Amaya was. Dancing and all the things. They had their first same-sex duo this year on this season's episode.
I know.
Season 30. I know. Deep. So that was something I wanted to touch on.
Did you know that before?
I didn't know.
Because I know you told me. I had seen that she was going to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Was
I think they might have kept it, I guess.
Going to be on. Apparently it was out that she was going to have a same-sex partner, but I didn't know that till we were watching it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to talk about that and some other people who've come out this year and the yucky side of conservative humans in this world and their bigotry and their closed-mindedness. So if you want to hear about all that, stick around. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like, share this video.